Welcome to the show. We'll be starting in about 45 seconds. "37 seconds. Well, now it's 35. Now it's 30. Now it's 30. No, now it's 30. Well, now it's 30. Now it's 20. Well, now it's 20. Oh, shit. Going down, going down. Going down, going down. Going down. No way you know who this is. Down. 9 seconds. Well, now it's 8. Well, now it's 5, 4, 3, and we're going live. I tell my love to wreck it all. Cut out all the ropes and let me fall.
Sunrise.
Cut out all the road and let me fall. Hello, everybody. All right, well, the opening music was from a band called Dusty Roads and the River Band from California, I believe, from hailing from San Diego. I saw them once when I was in New York City. Living in New York City. They were just a band that was traveling around trying to make it, and well, they did for a while, and then they never but I thought they were one of the most amazing bands. I used to see them in these small venues when they came into the town, and I wish he was still going. They were so animated and amazing. So this is to Dusty Roads and the River Band. Okay. Now, the song that I open with myself personally. I'm just making a face. If you're tuning in, I'm just making a face because I have this guy on the screen next to me that's making a face. I'll use it maybe as the thumbnail today. I'm going to do the face again now, so just wait a second. It's Jerome Powell. It's Jerome Powell. It's Jerome Powell. It's Jerome Powell. Do you know who he is? Okay. So, well, what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. It was the song that I played at the opener was Bon Iver. Right, you might know him as Bon Iver. That's getting wrong. And it's Bon Iver. His name is Justin. Very talented dude. And that song was Skinny Love. So there you go. Now, why do I have up Jay Powell? Jay Powell. I've got Jay Powell up here on the screen next to me because last we saw each other, it was the Friday drinking show, and the U.S. jobs report was coming out. I talked about good, bad. Good means bad, and bad means good. The report was quite interesting, and I think the market is missing a big point here. And so the currency market got it right, actually, and we'll talk about that in a second. Yes, because that's all that matters because of my trading. But the equity market, which I have no exposure to, I don't think got it right. Okay, and the equity market rallied in the aftermath. Now, why did the equity market rally in the aftermath? Well, it rallied in the aftermath. Well, I don't know, but the truth is, I do know. But the truth is, the big rally that came on Friday was because Mr. Jay Powell over here scaled back on his kind of more hawkish talk. That there's a message that he sent out at the previous Fed meeting, the last one, where he didn't want to kind of bend to the will of the market or to President Trump. It makes sense that investors and President Trump are aligned. They both want to see the market continue to hold up, as do many people, including the Fed. The Fed doesn't want to see the stock market collapse, but it has to look at the economic data. But there are other risks at hand that President Trump and investors want to say, no, don't do it, don't raise rates, right? Despite economic data, showing things that are supportive of raising rates. And so on Friday, Powell talked a little bit more dovish, let's say. He conceded the possibility of a full pause this year, and the market got, yay, rates are going to stay low, and we can continue to pump money into stocks. And so that's what happened. Now, at the same time, something else was going on, which I think the market is not really giving enough attention to. And it's something that they shouldn't, because it hasn't been an issue. But that thing is, I'm going to whisper it because I don't want anybody to hear. It's just so nobody hears. I'm just going to get over the mic here. It's something called inflation. Inflation. I'm going to say it again. Inflation. I'll spell it for you. I-M, like Mary, F-L-A-T-I-O-N. Inflation. Like Ali G. Technology. Remember that? Technology. What is it good for? I'm trying to do the accent. I can't do the accent. Right? There was one episode. I remember he's Ali G. I always loved the Ali G character. That was always my favorite. Call me a sucker. That I didn't like Bruno as much, or Borat, right? I like the Ali G character. Booyakasha, right? That guy. I like that guy. His interviews, those were brilliant. Brilliant! There was one where he was interviewing a panel on sex, and he had like a porn star, and he had like somebody from the Board of Education, and this and that, and then he had like a couple of like people from like the church, and there was one guy on the panel, a priest, and he kept calling, like asking people their opinions about things about sex and this and that, and he didn't ever give this guy any attention, and he kept calling everybody by their names, like he got everybody's name right. And then when this guy finally spoke, he called him he called him virgin, like he would only refer to him as virgin. I thought that was hysterical. He's just too funny. Sacha Baron Cohen, right? SBC. Yay, Sacha Baron Cohen. Okay, so I keep doing these digressions, and then I don't remember. Yeah, so I was gonna say inflation, not inflation. Yeah, so inflation, and so inflation's been one of those things that has been subdued globally. There hasn't been a lot of it going on. Nobody knows where is it. Nobody knows where it is. Where is it? We can't find it. We can't find inflation. It's nowhere. I don't know where it is. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? I don't know. And it's been like that. We've had this prolonged period of inflation, and a prolonged period of subdued inflation, or lack thereof, and so it's going to come back, and when it comes back, it's supposed to come back hard and fast. And I believe that we're starting to see evidence of that. Now, some economists will disagree with me about this one. They'll disagree with me because they want to push their narrative or whatever. I think it's pretty clear that hourly earnings are a good sort of leading indicator, precursor to inflation. As hourly earnings rise, it does tend to coincide with subsequent rises in inflation. And so this is, to make this fucking long story short, this is my point. My point is that the market's all yay because Powell conceded the possibility of a pause. But do you know what kind of shitstorm it's going to be for the Fed if inflation starts to shoot up? It's something that nobody has talked about, right? I'm talking about it. Nobody's listening to me. Because I'm an imbecile. But the point is that if hourly earnings start to shoot up, and they just did, the number on Friday was quite hot. Just so you know, for like markets talk, if an inflation number comes in hot, it's above forecast, right? So it came in quite above forecast. If you look at the year on year, and I think the month on month prints were kind of well above expectation, and that could mean that we're going to start to see inflation. If we see inflation, central bank has a responsibility, right? They have a responsibility. Their mandate is kind of, price stability, right? Maximum employment, all that stuff. And they have to kind of maintain this balance. And one of their jobs in order to do that is to make sure that inflation doesn't get out of control. In order to do that, how do you offset rising inflation, right? You raise interest rates. And so there could be a shitstorm of a situation where there's all this pressure because of, the market coming off, which I believe it should and should continue to after a decade of excessive monetary policy stimulus and accommodation and free money, right? So I think it should start to come off. So on the one hand, investors are going to be begging that the Fed kind of helps to alleviate that stress, but we've already seen that. We've been there, done that, right? Even if the Fed does kind of pause, it's still not going to be like it was back in 2008, 2009, 10, 11, going on and on, right? And so all of a sudden, the Fed's going to have to also be mindful of worrying about rising inflation. So do I let inflation get out of control and not raise rates? Or do I try to keep inflation in check and then investors cry? Wah, right? Well, that has risks to the economy, right? To the local economy. If you look at Turkey over the past year, you'll see a lot of that. It's a story that's gone on before that, but there's been, it's been a big problem for the central bank, where they've had to balance risks between rampant, like kind of inflation, and raising rates to offset that and to slow a massive deterioration in the lira, right? And Erdogan, right? President Erdogan does not want rates to go up because it strangles the economy, right? It's not good for the economy, and people don't like that. Just like President Trump doesn't want to see rates go up because the more the rates are lower, they're kind of more, right, helpful to the economy when money is cheaper. Okay, so I think that the market should be more at risk and will be sold again. And I think that if inflation starts to shoot up, holy shit, it's going to have to force the Fed into, it won't be able to have the luxury of putting its foot on the brake. So that's what I have to say about that. All right? Okay. Now, good news. Because good old Jay Powell talked about a pause, that means that interest rates in the United States, are not going to go up, or, he's talking in that direction, which means that the yield differential between the dollar and other currencies is going to move out of the dollar's favor because yields aren't going to go up. Interest rates aren't going to go up. They might be pausing, and he's conceding that possibly. And so what happens is the money flows out of the dollar. And so when we go to the position that, I'm sorry, this is not the position. This is chart of ETH. But the position that I was in was the euro. And I bought some of the euro on this dip down here by this X here. And the market had been kind of in this choppy consolidation. And after that flash crash that we saw last week in dollar yen, that had kind of moved all the other markets, the euro actually held up relatively well. I bought and caught a move all the way back up to the top of the range here. I think it's going to break out. But I also wanted to make sure that I was taking some profits. And so off to a nice start here in 2019, catching this very nice move over the past few sessions. And I do think it's going to break out. So I'd like to get back in again and have that exposure again. Nevertheless, the fantastic, exciting news is that what I wanted to do here on Cent, and if you're tuning in, then good for you on Tune, and if you're watching on Movio, then great that you get to see this too. But for the Cent community, because these are the people that I interact with, and until I interact with others, then it's Cent, greatest platform ever at Max. Thank you. At Cameron, I haven't spoken to you or interacted with you, but thank you. At Matthew, you're an angel. I've spoken to you. At Pavin, you also are a junior angel. I don't know if you're not junior, but I've interacted more with, I suppose, Matthew, so I said that. I'm sorry. Sorry if you're senior. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Okay. Now, so the exciting thing is that I was able to link up my portfolio for the most part to a portfolio that can be tracked here, a mini portfolio. And so it's all linked up, and this way here I can talk about my positions and throughout the year, hopefully, and you can kind of see what I'm doing. And so you know that I was talking about buying the euro the other week when I took the position. It might have been a little bit out of the money at the time. I don't know. Actually, I don't think it was out of the money at all. Maybe a little bit, but it was a pretty good entry. I got lucky with that. And so here's the book. So I've linked up the book, and we have a nice return to start the year, which is fantastic. It's always good to get a nice start. And if you're tuning in, up a nice little amount, a little over 4%, well, a little bit more than a little over 4.3%, and that's the story. So this is all kind of linked up and verified and all that, which is important to me if I'm going to be doing this and talking about this and kind of showing. And one of the things I do is I do work one-on-one with a specific type of person that is looking to learn how to trade. But I'm going to stop there because I don't want to fucking plug. I hate plugging. I'm just talking about myself because it's something exciting, but I don't want to go into a plug situation because I don't want to do that. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Ugh. Right? But it is actually kind of cool. It's like I'm like the guy who's actually a woman on the show Billions that gets to be like in the hedge fund and help people. Although I'm a dude and I'm a trader, but I also get to do this because I'm fascinated with this stuff. The thing is I only work with a certain type of profile. Idiots and imbeciles like me, right? Okay, on to some Zen stuff. I thought that this was a funny post today. Dog poop and personal rituals. Jeff Benson wrote about dog poop and personal rituals. You can read it, but it actually was kind of, well, he wrote about how his dog takes forever to make, and he's always like kind of wanting to get going, and he's like landing a plane. The dog, he didn't say this, I'm saying this. Dog kind of like my dog like tries to land a plane when he makes. He's like circling, and then he circles faster, and then he's in his position, and then he lets it drop. Right. My dog is so good at it, though. I have this like amazing trail right across from my house. Actually, it was like one of the motivations to be where I live. There's this trail where I don't have to even have a leash ever, which is fantastic. I can just go run off into the woods and do his thing. I'm not going to be holding a leash. Hold a leash. Nope. I can just let him go and walk like a man in the forest, and I can have my coffee. I don't drink coffee, but that would be like a nice commercial. Usually I'm drinking like water or Fanta or something like that. Water or Fanta. Yeah, really similar. And something like that. And so, yeah, or tea. I should have some tea. Some like a chai tea, right? Chai, yeah. And then you think, oh, he's so cultured. Chai tea. He's drinking grande skim chai latte. Is that cultured? No, that's like from Starbucks. Like, hi, can I please have a grande? Hold on a second. Let me just make sure nobody's. There's no shame in Starbucks anyway. Hi, can I please have a grande skim chai latte? To go. To go. Nobody's having it to stay. You don't have to say to go, you fucking idiot. Do people have it to stay? I don't know. I really don't even go in there. I think it's like I have it like once a year, when I'm in like Manhattan, and my wife says I'm gonna go get a coffee at Starbucks, the most expensive fucking place in the world. Starbucks, right? And she says, do you want that grande skim chai latte? She says, do you want that grande skim? That she says, you want that? What does she say? Like, I don't even know. Like she gets the size wrong. And then I say, no, it's a grande. It's a grande. Can I have a grande skim chai? What a loser. Loser. It's actually quite good though. And so I have that. Not when I'm on the path though. Really, just Fanta or water. Just Fanta or water. That's going to be the name of my album. Fanta or water. Yeah, the show's going downhill fast. Anyway, so he wrote about that and how like he just wants to be more patient for his dog and shouldn't let him have his time, and that we all have our things and our rituals and our shit. So I said, this is some profound shit. I said it to Jeff in the comments. Profound shit, because that's literally what the post is about. But I thought that was funny. There was another post, which I'm not going to put up, but it was interesting, I thought, from McKee. And McKee posted this thing about this project. I don't know if it's his project or somebody else's project. I don't know. But it was a fascinating idea. Concept was like you go to this site. You can look it up on scent.co under McKee's profile. You go to this site. I forget what it's called. And it looks like it's like kind of like a 4x4 of YouTube channel, like boxes of YouTube, channels or whatever, YouTube clips, like this big massive Muppet Show kind of like, these boxes like that are layered on the 4x4. I don't know what it is, 5x5, whatever. Who cares? But the concept is cool. It's using a smart contract to basically say that okay, that top center box is one that I want. I want to feature all my content there. And so you click on it and it shows you who owns it, who owns that spot, that real estate, and what they're willing to sell it for. And so like let's say it's 3 ETH. Well, then you can kind of click and buy it through your MetaMask or whatever else you use or whatever, and you buy it through MetaMask. It links up to your wallet. You pay for it, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's out and you're in. He gets his money, and there you have a real estate spot, and you can put whatever links you want in there, whatever YouTube links in. You're like, oh shit, I forgot it's YouTube. I spent 25 ETH. I got it, and then I go to put in my link from some other platform. It doesn't work because it's only for YouTube. I'm screwed. Yeah, well, you'd be screwed in that situation. But if you were looking to put in a YouTube clip, then you'd be not so screwed. And then you could set the price yourself. If somebody wants to come along and match that price, then you're out of there. If they don't, then you've got that amazing real estate. So it's a pretty cool idea. It probably exists a million times over. I don't know. But I thought it was kind of cool because I understood it. Most things I don't understand, which was shocking that I did. All right. The charts. Well, Bitcoin. We'll start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, ETH, same kind of thing as far as, what they're doing. They're correlating. Although I did show you the other day that, now it's coming off a little bit, but ETH relative to Bitcoin was having a nice, few sessions out from its critical lows after being beaten down in 2018. That's the price of ETH relative to Bitcoin. And then basically in, December, ETH started to recover against Bitcoin quite a bit. And now it's pulling back a little bit. But, for all intents and purposes, relative to the dollar, they're kind of moving in the same way. They've both been recovering out from their extreme lows. And so Bitcoin is considering this possibility that I've talked about on the short-term basis, on the daily chart, of an inverse head and shoulders, which would be a bullish kind of going higher type formation. But it needs to break above the neckline, which is around 44.80. So it needs to get back above, let's say, if you want to say 4,500, that's fine. But it needs to get back above that level to suggest that it actually could be breaking out a little bit on a short-term basis. Because if it does break that neckline, the projection is a move equal in size from the head to the neckline, which would take us up into this area here, which is into that massive previous triangle support. Remember, the market was consolidating before finally breaking down, just collapsing, which is something that I talked about months back, this possibility as we were seeing this contraction in range. I'm not going to go back, because who cares if I talked about it. But this previous support area where the projected pattern, if it does break above 4,500 into the 5,500 to 6,000 area, if it does get up there, then that's going to be where it's going to be really tested. It would need to establish above there on a medium to longer term basis to suggest that it's really trying to get back to being more constructive. Until then, the downtrend remains intact. So even if we break above 44.80 or 4,500, whatever you want to call it, that would only open up a move up towards the 5,500 to 6,000 area, and it wouldn't be medium to longer term bullish. The market would likely, at this point, given the downtrend, look for a lower top in that area for the next major downside extension. But at the same time, we have seen a massive drop, right? Like these 80% declines off the highs to the lows, and we could soon be near this, like a longer term secular bottom in Bitcoin and ETH, right? So ETH, the same thing. If you look at ETH, you can see that it kind of got up and stalled out into this critical previous support zone for ETH. Excuse me, I'm so tired. Around 165. So we couldn't really get above there. So that's a tough resistance zone that it kind of stalled out into, and it could be rolling back over again now. Who knows? Do you think ETH will go back below 100 in 2019? We'll see what happens. I definitely think there's good value between $50 and $100. I definitely think that, given all that we've seen. Okay? So that is it for today. That is it for today. I'm going to wind down. Pretty solid amount of time for a show that was supposed to be nothing. I'm so tired. So tired. So tired. So tired. And that's it. Okay? So just as I do have one more thing I want to say. Special guest. I'm going to have a special guest on that I'm interviewing. I thought this person was really sharp. I'm sorry. He comes more from the Bitcoin maximalist world. Bitcoin maximalist. Optimus Prime. It's like Transformers. It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. But I do think he's kind of cool, and so I commissioned him. I did for you people at Cent and at Tune and at maybe at Bitmovio. I commissioned him for you. For me, I thought it would be interesting, and so it's good to do that. I like doing that. because then, I can be a jackass and can't do anything about it, which is fantastic for all of us. So you don't have to be uncomfortable anymore when you're watching. You're like, oh, oh my God, Joel's interviewing this guy. This is painful. Nope. He's got to do it. I commissioned him. Commissioned. I don't know why I keep saying that. All right. So that's all, folks. Right? That's all, folks. I have that Porky Pig thing, Is that what it was? Porky Pig? I forget. And I will see you back on again, hopefully tomorrow. Booze, want to stay out? Have a good one. Booze just smokes like a chain smoker. Doesn't stop. It's okay. He's my boy. Booze, you're my boy. All right. Now, Joel, will you do the honors and take us out, please? Take us out, buddy. Oh, yeah!